name is Angel R. Oclarino, and I will make a video presentation in the subject of basic microeconomics. Question number 1. What are the real flows and money flows that run between household, firms, government, and the circular flow model? First, we will define the real flow. Real flows are flows of commodities and services from enterprises to household via factors market. Payment for services of factors of production, expenditures of goods and services, taxes, transfers are all example of money flow. When you buy a cup of coffee in a Starbucks, flows from household through markets to corporation. When a student works at Jollibee or McDonald's, there is a real flow from household to enterprises through factors market. When you pay your taxes, it is an example of money flows from household to the government. Question number 2. What are the choices made by household and firms that determine what, how, and for whom goods and services are produced? Where in the circular flow model do these appear? Answer. Consumption decisions are made by household, and productions on decision are made by businesses. These decisions result in a flow of goods and services spending from consumers to firms, as well as a flow of production and services from firms to household via good market. These decisions result in a flow of production factors from household to companies, as well as factors revenue from firms to household via good market. Question number 3. How do the actions of government modify what, how, and for whom goods and services are produced? Where in the circular flow model do these appear? 2 reasons government operations change what, how, and for whom goods and services are created. 1. They provide some services, and 2. They change the distribution of income among individuals. Government activities appear as goods and services market expenditures, as well as government spending on service market expenditures in the circular flow model. Transfer and taxes are exchanged between individuals and governments, as well as between corporations and governments. Letter B. Rice Tarification Law. In number 1, you will see the graph about the rice and palay. Number 2, the graph shows the average palay and rice prices. Since the rice tarification law, rice and palay prices have been trending downward. At the outset of the COVID-19 epidemic, the price climbed in tandem with global rice prices, but then leveled off. The National Food Authority, or NFA, dominated the rice market, and its monopoly power over imports and prices result in the high prices for Filipino consumers. Government subsidies for NFA loses, and for rice producer. Despite being designed to keep rice prices stable, the system collapsed in 2018 when a severe rice scarcity became a key driver of inflation, which increased by factors of 10. The poor, who spend the majority of the household's budget on essential foods products, felt the effects of this proportionately. If we literally are going to, for all intents and purposes, analyze it, there are no proper authorities to check the supply of the latter, and will later on essentially lead to a shortage of supply because the enterprises will no longer specifically have a choice but to increase the price of the rice because the supply essentially is actually low in general major way. Number 3. The The rice farmer is very important to our country because they produce rice that people need in their everyday life. Without the farmers, we can buy rice in the markets. We can eat rice without farmers. Rice farmers is one of the most very important to us because the farmers is the agricultural system's backbone. Agriculture is an important aspect of a country progressing. As everyone knows, the gross domestic product must be reasonable. The farmers ensures that the crops are well created for in order them to yield a significant profit for the state. Even the rice farmer is very tight, they make sure that they have a good rice to sell in the markets. With the rice farmer, we can buy a good rice and we can choose what we want to buy. Number 4. The Rice Tarification Law or RTL was enacted by Philippine government. It has radically altered the rice sector's policy landscape and sparked passionate disputes about how it would be impact food security and poverty. To model the domestic pricing implication of reforms, we used IRRI, Global Rice Model and Family Income Band, Expenditures Surveys or FIES. Our findings suggest that the RTL lower rice prices for both consumers and producers, affecting both consumers and producers. Most households profit from the policy reforms since the vast majority of households are net rice buyers, and the policy reforms lower prices. In general, the reforms have a positive impact on poverty. Number 5. The law has two primary provisions. Number 1. It substitutes rice import quantitative restriction or QR with a tariff. Prior to this law, there was a limit on how much rice could be imported, and the National Food Authority or NFA was in charge of all imports. Number 2, the tariff income will be utilized the Rice Competitiveness Enhancement Fund or RCEF. It is required that 10 billion be set aside for the rice industry improvement over next 6 years. When it comes to the subject of rice tariff, it's simple to fall into one of the camps. Either one makes the passionate argument that we must preserve farmers' welfare at any cost, or as proven in many economic models, they are a simple trade-off for the overall well-being of the economy. It shouldn't be a case of either or when it comes to economic difficulties.